Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. 100 general knowledge questions everyone should know. What is the center of our solar system? The sun. What color is formed when all the rainbow colors of light are mixed? White. How many colors are in traffic light? Three. What part of earth is covered mostly by water? Oceans. What is the first step of the scientific method? Ask a question. What is the name for an educated guess in science? Hypothesis. What kind of energy is stored in food? Chemical energy. What is the study of weather called? Meteorology. What is the branch of science that studies matter and energy? Physics. What do we call the change of a solid directly into a gas? Sublimation. What is the name for the preserved remains of ancient living things? Fossils. Which of these is a mixture? Air. What do we call a system of millions or billions of stars? Galaxy. What is the study of living things called? Biology. Which of these is not a state of matter? Energy. What type of engineer designs bridges and buildings? Civil engineer. What is the name for a group of stars that form a pattern in the sky? Constellation. What is a cloud of gas and dust in space called? Nebula. What is the study of animals called? Zoology. What is the name for an animal that is hunted and eaten by another animal? Prey. What is the name for a species that is no longer living anywhere on Earth? Extinct. What simple machine is a seesaw? Lever. What is the process by which plants lose water through leaves? Transpiration. What is the most common state of matter in the universe? Plasma. What is the main job of the red blood cells? Carry oxygen. What layer of the earth do we live in? Crust. Which of these is a renewable source? Solar power. What do we call two or more atoms chemically bonded together? A molecule. When a solid turns into a liquid, it is called melting. What is the most abundant element in the universe? Hydrogen. What causes solar eclipse? The moon passes between the sun and the earth. What is the main element in the sun? Hydrogen. What is the name for an animal that only eats plants? Herbivore. What is the main threat to polar bears' survival? Melting ice due to climate change. What state of matter has a definite volume but no definite shape? Liquid. What is the name of NASA's most famous space telescope? Hubble. What causes sound? Vibrations. Which blood cells help fight infection? White blood cells. What part of the cell contains genetic material? Nucleus. What force keeps the planets in orbit around the Sun? Gravity. Which component of blood helps in clotting? Platelets. What is the main function of the ozone layer? Protect Earth from harmful ultraviolet rays. Which of these is not a sense? Balance. What do we call a substance that allows electricity to flow through it easily? A conductor. Which law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction? Newton's third law. Which of these is a greenhouse gas? Carbon dioxide. What is a scientific concept that has been tested many times and accepted as true? A law. Which vitamin is crucial for helping your blood to clot when you get a cut? Vitamin K. What is the name of the supercontinent that existed millions of years ago? Pangaea. What is the main cause of most air pollution? Burning of fossil fuels. Which part of the atom has a positive charge? Proton. Which planet has the most moons? Saturn. What gives plants their green color? Chlorophyll. Which force pulls objects toward Earth? Gravity. What is freezing the process of? Liquid turning to solid. Which part of the plant absorbs water and minerals? Roots. What instrument is used to measure temperature? Thermometer. Which planet has the most prominent rings? Saturn. Which instrument is used to see tiny organisms? Microscope. What type of blood do universal donors have? O negative. What layer of the atmosphere do we live in? Troposphere. Which gas causes the greenhouse effect most strongly? Carbon dioxide. The smallest bone in the human body is found in the ear. Is it true or false? True. What is photosynthesis mainly responsible for? Producing oxygen and food. Which system protects body from diseases? Immune system. Where in the body are new blood cells made? Bone marrow. What part of the cell is known as its control center? Nucleus. What is the opposite of a magnet's north pole? South pole. What type of energy is stored in a battery? Chemical energy. What process involves water turning from a liquid to a gas? Evaporation. What is the main gas that makes up Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. What is the term for the variety of life in a particular habitat or ecosystem? Biodiversity. What gas is produced when vinegar is mixed with baking soda? Carbon dioxide. Which celestial body is a natural satellite of the Earth? The Moon. How long does the Earth take to complete one orbit around the Sun? One year. Which of these is a unit of measurement for force? Newton. What is the process of water falling as rain or snow called? Precipitation. What is the primary function of calcium in the body? To build strong bones and teeth. The elbow is the largest joint in the human body. True or false? False. What is the brain of a computer called? CPU. What energy transformation happens in a battery-powered flashlight? Chemical to light. What is the purpose of an insulator on an electrical wire? To prevent electric shocks. What does a pulley help you do? Lift heavy loads with less effort. What is the name for an organism that breaks down dead matter? Decomposer. Volume is the amount of space an object takes up. True or false? True. Sound travels fastest through which medium? Solid. Sound can travel through a vacuum. True or false? False. What is the hardest tissue in the human body? Tooth enamel. What is the main function of your kidneys? To filter waste from your blood. What is the name of the pigment that gives skin and hair its color? Melanin. What is the body's master gland that controls other glands? Pituitary gland. What is the purpose of mucus in your nose? To trap dust and germs. What do we call the resistance to motion caused by two surfaces rubbing together? Friction. What do we call a material that does not allow electricity to flow through it? Insulator. Which of these is a fossil fuel? Natural gas. What is the name of the river that flows into a larger river? Tributary. What is the center of an atom called? Nucleus. What is the name of the scale used to measure how acidic or basic a substance is? pH scale. Which theory explains the universe beginning from a single point? Big Bang theory. What instrument is used to measure atmospheric pressure? Barometer. Subscribe for more educational videos like this.